One. Hi there, I'm Dani, spiritualtherapist.com, and today I'm bringing you yet another of my beautiful friends, a global well-known woman who most people these days call Grandma Sparky. Grandma Sparky might be 80 years young, but believe me, she can keep up with all of you and your kids. Welcome, my darling Grandma Sparky. How are you?
I am deliciously invited into your spiritual heart together. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
I would say so. And there's the first snort. Oh God. Oh my God, darling. I love you so much. I haven't seen you for so long and you just make my heart sing with joy. You really do.
It's wonderful.
It really is. So let's start with how you and I met all those years ago.
You know, I was just thinking about it because I want to just thank you for something so simple. You know, the dish drainer that you got at 99-cent store or something, that you had a black one in your, so anyway, I'm looking all over at 22 different places to move to. And I'm like 2 days before I have to get out. And all of a sudden I just happened to chat with you and you said, hey, I'm living in this great place. Why don't you come over and see it in this complex? And I came right away, and the agent took me and I went, okay. And the next day I was in the place, and you were right there. But no, in your beautiful, beautiful home there. And you brought me in and I said, I don't know about this dish strainer. How do you do this? Because my dish strainer, it gets dirty. And you go, it's only $1. Go to the dollar store and get another one. I went, oh, okay. So I was thinking about that this morning. These are the big things.
Right,
you know?
right. I remember another time when we were like in my kitchen and we were trying to figure out the timer on the cooker. And then an alarm went off. Like, what do we do? You know, because
we were taking it manual. So you know, on the big scoop of life, all of us do these big things, and we're really just, we're just a human being doing whatever we do every day. And so it's really cool. And then you came in that what's it called, the car with the hood down.
Oh yeah,
the convertible.
Yeah.
And gave me this nose.
Oh,
and this glasses. And then, so you took me to belly up. She said, we're going out and we're going to dance. And she picked me up in the convertible, okay? And she gives me these what you call it at the some kind of funny stores.
Plastic glasses with a huge
nose, and then the teeth. And then you gave teeth. And she says, okay, pop these in. And I couldn't stop laughing. I went, and she said, and that's how we're going to go in. I go, no. Oh, yes, we're going to go in for the big dance. And I hadn't been dancing. I'm 80 years old. I haven't, and how long have you been away? I can't even know now.
2 years.
Only 2 years. Okay. It seems like forever. And so we went in there and I danced with some guy for the whole evening.
Yeah. He was the most handsome man in the whole club. He was. That was so funny on so many levels, because you're such a good sport and you're such a naughty girl. And I've always had a fart gun or the silly glasses or the teeth.
Oh, yeah.
You and we both went into the club wearing the big nose and the glasses, because we thought we were the funniest people in the world. It didn't really matter who else was watching. You and I were just killing ourselves laughing. And then we went on the dance floor and people were like standing back, like, who are these weirdos? And you're such a tiny little girl. When you were dancing, all you have to do is like, this is little, people are like, oh, they're starting to copy you. And it was just like, they're like, and those two from the Funny Farm. I mean, seriously.
You always did, and don't tell anybody about the socks you got me. Okay, because I have, and I can't say, we can't say that. We can't say that. Okay, but she gives me these socks. Okay, and these is beautiful. And all my work is in blue, royal blue, and it's beautiful. And so you give me this little present, and I pull them out in these beautiful socks. And at the end, it says some bad word. It's a naughty word at the bottom. And I looked at you, and I just went, I can't show this. I can't wear this. They're in my drawer. It's just so I
I'm going to tell everyone the socks say F off, I'm reading.
Okay. Then she said, I didn't say it. Okay.
Oh my God.
That's I mean, that was, and then you had the horn, in the elevators. Oh my God. I said, please don't do this. And you didn't care. And you didn't care. And you would, what's that horn you blew all the time?
It's the fart gun.
The fart gun. Yeah, the fart gun. And so I'd be in an elevator, we'd be going some fancy big deal. And all of a sudden she's not that fart gun. And I'm going, no, please don't do this. I can't get away. I can't get away from you.
These are the funny things in life. I've done it in elevators so many different times. And like people, they're not sure. Did somebody pass me? And they're starting to go like this.
That's right.
Because their imagination.
It's imagination. We always say, we had such a good time together because we were so different. You're tall, like how tall are you anyway?
5'8".
So you're 8 inches taller than me, okay? And this pretty young woman you are, yes, pretty young woman you are, and I'm a little bitty thing following you everywhere you go. And everywhere you go, I'm just going, and I'm wearing the glasses, and I'm wearing buck teeth, and is anybody going to dance with me? It's got a great band, right?
Yeah. Very the belly up, San Diego.
Belly up in San Diego is very well known, and it's crowded and all this. And some guy, I don't know, he danced with me the whole night.
He did. He really did.
I think he was with another girl. Remember?
Yes, but yeah, hey,
she was watching. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that's so funny. That was so funny. Oh my God, Sparky Pants, you do make me die. Remember when I bought you that? I bought you that onesie. You look like a 9-year-old child in it, like it's too big. You put the hood and you disappear in the feet. It's too big in it. And oh my God,
I have that onesie in the winter time, which doesn't get winter very often here in San Diego. And I have it. It's hanging right there in my closet. And yeah, it's a onesie. I didn't even know. Remember, I didn't know what a onesie was.
Yeah. I'm like, put it on, you'll love it, darling. You'll look cute in it. And you do.
That's right.
Oh my God. Well, after all this giggling, I think we should tell people like who you are globally, okay. Everybody known as, please go into it.
So they call me Grandma Sparky. My real name is Helice, like Helice, like hell on ice, bridges, like a bridge builder. And I'm the founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide. And our mission is to uplift and unite humanity through the power of love. So uplifting and uniting, and our goal is 1 billion people being honored. I'm the creator of a blue ribbon that says who I am makes a difference. I have it on me right now. I don't know if you can see it, but it says who I am makes a difference. And this was 40 years ago. So I'm 80 now. So I was like, well, I was about 37, millionaire. Married, beautiful home overlooking the ocean, 2 preteen sons, the American dream, except behind the closed doors. And by the way, my husband was, he's since passed, but he was a beloved and brilliant entrepreneur. He could make money by blinking, okay? He knew how to dream and make stuff happen. That's the good news. He was very generous to everybody. Behind closed doors, not so much for me. He was a different personality. He was, let me see if I can explain it. He was controlling for certain, I had to do everything that he told me. I was very subservient to him. And he was emotionally abusive, not physically. And like that. So, and I think it was 1979 that I decided to take my life. I drove home in my new Mercedes. We had luxury cars in the driveway. And you don't know when you're being defeated like that. When, all of us have a bigger understanding in the spiritual world of learning about ourselves and valuing our worth of self. But in those days, it was black and white TV, or not really, but, You know, it's like, you know, it's just, it was, I was subservient to my husband, but I was a top real estate person in San Diego. I made a lot of money on my own, bought my own Mercedes, new Mercedes. I could do all that stuff. But when I got inside the house, I just shriveled up around him. And so I think that the birth of my work and the blue ribbon that I just showed you came, this is the miracle of miracles, and this is where God is so good. And we don't know that at the beginning of when there's a defeat, or when the one door closes, another one opens. But I remember one day coming home from our work, and the sun is setting right by the ocean. We were home, beautiful home, looking out at the ocean. Could see the whales jumping right out of our window. It's gorgeous. And I came in, and nothing, it was like lights went off completely in my entire body. Just like nothing was there. And all I remembered is nothing I do really matters. And then I'm going to take my life. I didn't think about my children, my friends, or anything, and just chose that destiny. And would you like me to say what happened?
Yes, please. Okay,
so here's, I think, and this is where a beginning of many miracles that have been in my life. But what occurred was, I got dressed in my most beautiful dress, lavender, off the shoulder, straw hat, lavender matching high heels, just looking really good. And I remember dressing and saying, I'm going to wear my best dress if I'm going to take my life. And I stepped out of the bedroom, and I looked out at the ocean, and I can't see the ocean. I can't see, and it was just and my husband came up behind me, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, "I think you might be going crazy. You ought to stay home from work today." And I heard him go down the spiral steps and rev up his Mercedes convertible and drive off. And I just stood there, and I started to take my clothes off, my hat, my dress, my shoes, my underwear. I got naked and curled up in a ball and started to sob and cry and cry. And then I screamed to the heavens, "Stop the world. I've got to get off and find a place where people love each other." And this is where I heard the voice, the sweet little voice that I never heard in my life before. It says, as clear as I'm telling you, "You cannot take your life because you're going to sing, dance, write, and have a musical on Broadway in New York City, and you're going to bring love to the world." And I remember sitting up, like popping up like popcorn. And I sat straight up and I said, "Huh?" And it was like somebody opened a whole new world to me. And like, that was who I was going to be. And I didn't even question. It wasn't a question. It was like somebody put the switch back on. And I went, "Oh, okay." And that's what I did.
Amazing, amazing. Bless your beautiful sweetheart, darling. So let's move on through to how you kind of came into that, recovering from, the mental trauma and pressure of having an oppressive husband, and how you kind of move forward with your own gifts and talents.
I think that we never know. I decided to, something told me I had to leave. I walked out of our $1 million house with my potted plant and my clothes. That was it. And I put everything in the car, and he had all my money because I always gave my money over, and when I was helping to fix the house. So I had nothing, no zip money. And I left, and I wound up being in my friends' houses for as much as they could stand me, because I was like just very depressed and I was a crazy person. But here's the great news. I did two things. One is one day I said, "I need to make a difference." And it popped out of me. And I met a gentleman who happened to come off the train, and I was meeting a friend at the train station in Del Mar, in California. And he pops off, and with my girlfriend, and all of a sudden she invites him over to her. She says, "Oh yeah, I know you. We took a course together. Why don't you come for breakfast? And we're going to go to church first." Long and short, we go to church, we go to breakfast, and this gentleman and I fall in love. And he takes me to the S program. We co-chair the San Diego Hunger Project together. We enrolled 10,000 people to help end world hunger. And out of which I was speaking on stages of schools and assemblies, talking about the Hunger Project and how people could end hunger, not about feeding people, but about knowing who they were, because the Hunger Project was about who you were as a resilient champion, and that you could, in fact, call forth being able to feed people if feeding was the way to do it. But mostly we had to learn how to feed ourselves. And I would do these assemblies, and then after, the kids would surround me, or the teachers, and this is where I created the blue ribbon. This is the moment of it. It wasn't initially the blue ribbon, but one boy comes to me and says, "My father lost his job, and we're going to lose our home, and we're going to be on the street." And a girl comes up and says, "My mother's got cancer, and I don't know what to do." And a teacher comes up and says, "My son just got arrested for drugs, and I'm beside myself." And these were kind of the conversations I was having after I would be giving Let's End World Hunger. Everybody said, "I'm starving myself." And I came home and I prayed on it and said, "Well, I don't know what to do. I'm going through a divorce, got no money myself." But what came through me was, maybe they needed to be loved like me. I'll go find a way to do that, and created the Who I Am Makes a Difference button, which transformed into a blue ribbon, which has now impacted over 50 million people on the way to go to 1 billion.
That's right. And it's amazing. Can you hold the ribbon up again?
Sure.
And just leave it there for a couple of seconds so people can have a look, and tell people how they themselves can take part in this ceremony.
Yes. So first of all, you can go to Blue Ribbons, BLUERIBBONS.org. You can get free ribbons. Watch the Blue Ribbon movie on our homepage. It was in Chicken Soup for the Soul. It shows how a boy's life was saved because his father honored him with this blue ribbon. Very famous story. It was made into a television movie. And you could order ribbons. You could find out about doing a training program with me personally to lead your own community. So we're going for 1 billion people, so you'll have a platform. So you have to get in touch with me on that, and we'll give you that. Let me give you my email address. So write it down. It's Sparky, SPARKY at Blue Ribbons, BLUERIBBONS. We'll repeat it again later. But if you want to know about the training program and being a part of that, you have to be vetted by me. So it's not for everybody, but then you'll be able to be a leader in your community if you're eligible. So that's how to do it. And then I'll share with you the 7-step ceremony that takes less than 60 seconds to save a life, end bullying, bring a whole community together. I'm gonna honor all of you. So you're all watching right now. So this is the blue ribbon. You see how I'm holding it? And I'm looking right in from my heart through my eyes. I'm sending you love. So be present for this. The blue ribbon says, "Who I am makes a difference." And I want to honor you for the courage it takes to keep on keeping on, to be a pioneer in these days, to get kicked down, thrown out, not understood, not understanding even ourselves, and just maturing within the soul of what God wants, and maturing so that you could be that delicious fruit that everybody can bite into and be fortified by. Yes, you're that person. You're the one that's a gift. And would you accept my gift of this ribbon? Yeah. May I have permission to place it on you? Okay, thank you. It goes above your heart. I'm going to show you how this looks. I'll just tip this down a bit. You see that? It goes up. It goes, it's very specific. It points up toward all your best dreams coming true. And it is tradition for me to take the spark from my heart and put it in the cheerleaders that are in this ribbon, this community of cheerleaders. And it's the sound that makes dreams come true. And the sound is
Bing.
B-I-N-G, bing. And every time you give a bing, you'll know that a child just got their dream. Because you have told them that they matter, and nobody really knows that they do. They need your support, they need your love, and tradition is I give you 2 extra ribbons that you might pay it forward. Honor somebody and give them an extra ribbon to honor another, and then come back and tell me the difference it makes, and take pictures so we can post it and honor you and spotlight you on our social media.
It's such a beautiful, simple ritual. And like you say, you know, you brought this to us over 43 years ago. You've gone round and round the world. You have taken cities, and are they now blue cities where the mayors are getting involved? And tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so basically, over the years, I've been invited to honor Nobel Peace Prize winners, stand on the stage with the Dalai Lama and Vice President Al Gore, the Environmental Earth Summit, go to the Soviet Union. I've been all over the world because of the ribbon, and because it's in 12 languages, and because I have learned how to speak to the heart and the mind. But what I wanted to do, and it was years ago that my former board members said I had to create a replicatable, scalable, sustainable model. Well, I didn't know what those 3 words meant. I mean, I said, I want 1 billion people. And they said, well, you have to create a model for that. And I just completely passed out.
Oh.
And then I made all the board go away. I fired them. Okay. Because one is they said I'd call and do it. And the second is I didn't have a clue. And I Googled those 3 words: replicatable, scalable, sustainable. For 2 years, I kept repeating that till I found my new board members, and I went, okay. And so the Blue Ribbon Cities model came about a year ago, which was August. It was actually May 2021. And this is how it comes, everybody. In case you get it, listen to it and follow your God, your intuition, whatever you call it. And you gotta just break through that. What I did was, the young girl, Hannah Katz, she is now 19, she was 17 at the time. And Hannah, who you know, her mom, Amanda Marie Masters, Amanda, her mom was in my training when she was 12 and a half years old. And now she's in her 50s, and she brought her daughter, Hannah, and her 2 sons into my Standing Strong Together training. And Hannah decides that she wants to take and have everybody honored in her high school here in San Diego, Carlsbad specifically. And she's going to train 11,000 elementary, middle, and high school kids in the whole community to honor 50,000 people. That's her commitment. And so she creates a short video explaining all this, which is masterful. And she presents it to her counselors at the school, and they go, absolutely, let's do it. And COVID happens. And everything gets shut down, and she graduates high school, and she goes off to college, and she gets her job waitressing, and everything disappears. And I said, Hannah, don't worry about it. I will send your video all over the world. If it's not here for 50,000 people to get honored, somebody will duplicate you. I said, that's my job. My job is empowerment, supporting you, and giving you a platform, and your name be over. The long and the short is, I declared her, I said, Hannah, I think what we need to do is have you receive a proclamation from your mayor. She said, how do you do that? I said, we call him and make an appointment. She goes,
yeah.
I said,
Simple,
you call him up.
Right?
Yeah, you call him up. And I said, and we'll talk to your superintendent. How do you do that? Well, I'll call his secretary and we'll make an appointment. Well, what do we say? I said, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. We'll talk it out. So we got the proclamation from the mayor, Matt, and he was excited. So then I contacted another friend and I said, she introduced me to the owners of Gelato Love here in San Diego. And I went over there and she said to them, you know, Sparky has a global campaign, Blue Ribbon campaign, and can we create a gelato flavor for her campaign? And they said, yes, we can create a Blue Ribbon flavor for that. And so when I left, I went, well, let's see, this is July 2021. My global kickoff is until November. Why can't we just taste the gelato flavor now? We'll have a kickoff. So we created a red carpet kickoff with 50 people at a park right outside of Gelato Love. And the mayor came and gave a proclamation. Now, all this is happening like instantaneous, yes? Everybody likes the idea. Oh my God, gelato is making a flavor for you. I mean, that's like everybody just takes a big gasp about that.
Yeah.
Here's the long, short, and brilliance of how you create a replicatable, scalable, sustainable model. I want 1 billion people to be honored. How are you going to do that? Well, I wasn't sure, but Hannah said she's going to honor 50,000 people and train 11,000. She gets a proclamation. But Hannah says, I want to pass the torch to somebody. So I went to Michael's art store and I asked them for a torch. They didn't have one, but they took a cardboard, blue cardboard, and they twirled it around and put a little fiery thing that looked like fire. And I bought it for $1.36. And when the mayor hands Hannah the proclamation, and I said, by the power invested in me as the founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide, Hannah Katz, I hereby proclaim you the leader of the first Blue Ribbon city in the world, Carlsbad, California, and by which I pass her the torch. Now, she turns and passes the torch to what we call Science Brad Huber. Science, Brad is one of my students. He's a 6th grade science teacher in a little town called Moose Lake, Minnesota, 2,300 people. He heard that Hannah is going to be the first. He calls me up. If she's the first, I'm the second. And he's never come out. He's never even seen the ocean. He came all the way out from Moose Lake, Minnesota to this. And Hannah says, by the power invested in me as the leader of the first Blue Ribbon city in the world, Carlsbad, California, Brad Hubert, I hereby declare you the leader of the second Blue Ribbon city in the world, Moose Lake, Minnesota, and hands him the cardboard torch.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. I want to just say that I'm going to fast forward and just tell you, we now have 10 cities, 2 countries, 2 counties. Since last year, all graduates of my Standing Strong Together training, all leaders of leaders, youth and adults. And Brad Hubert went home to his little town. He called his governor of Minnesota and got endorsed. He called the US Senator, Amy Klobuchar, who ran for United States president, and got endorsed. And then he called Pete Stauffer, who is the US congressperson. And I understood, Brad told me that that Pete was going to the House of Representatives. I said, if he goes to the House, tell him to take a ribbon. I want to know there was a ribbon in the House. He does better than that. He pitches us at the House of Representatives and we get a congressional record for Blue Ribbon cities.
Excellent.
So what I want to just say to you is that a 6th grade science teacher, Brad Hubert, took a stand, recreated his model and brought 360 people together in his community. He has since, in 2021, he was named the Elementary Science Teacher of the Year for the state of Minnesota. And in 2022, he was named the finalist for the top 11,000 teachers in the state out of 86,000. He did it because he stood up and started honoring people with the blue ribbon, talking about anti-suicide, had the little town printing their newspapers and getting them on television, and he got his word out, and that's how it does. It goes like that.
I think it's so important, Sparky, for everyone to understand that this little blue ribbon, the power in it, that little ceremony that you created, that you just shared with us, it feels so good to a person, a child, you know, someone of any age, to have someone look at them and honor them and say who you are makes a difference. Like, you're valuable, you're worthy. Can you briefly share the story of the original man, the corporate man, and his son?
Yes, of course. And so just as a preference to this, just know and think about it. Who would you love to have somebody tell you that you matter? Whether it's your father, your teacher, whatever, because we're yearning for that. This was 1988, actually, the story. A teacher in New York a high school teacher is honoring every one of her students. She orders the ribbons and she honors each of them individually and cheers them on for their dreams and gives them each 3 extra ribbons and says, go out into the community, find somebody to honor them, pay the 2 extra ribbons forward, find out what they did and come back next week as a community building project. Let's find out if acknowledgement matters and makes a difference. And she sends the kids out into the community to honor people. This is one of the stories. A high school senior that day goes to a junior executive and honors him for his career, helping him with his career planning. Takes the ribbon, honors him, and places it with his permission above his heart and cheers him on for his dreams. Gave him 2 extra ribbons and said, we're doing a class project on acknowledgement. Would you please honor somebody and give them a ribbon to honor another and come back the following week and tell me what happened? And that afternoon, the junior executive goes to his grouchy boss and he honors him for being a creative genius and places the ribbon above his heart over his suit and gives him a bing and gives him the last ribbon and says, go out and honor somebody and tell me what happens, because this boy in the high school has to report it. And so that night, the father is driving home in New York traffic. He's a big business owner in Wall Street, and he's driving, who am I going to honor? Who am I going to honor? He comes home, he sits his 14-year-old boy down on the sofa, and he looks at him and he says, every night I come home, son, and I yell at you for not cleaning up your room and getting better grades in school. But tonight, I just want to tell you that who you are makes a difference and that I love you. And with that, he shows him the ribbon and the boy starts to sob and he cannot stop crying. He goes over to a drawer, opens a drawer, takes out a gun, looks at his dad and said, I was planning on committing suicide tomorrow, Dad, because I didn't think you loved me. And now I don't have to. And the businessman the next day thanks the junior executive and changes the culture of his old company as a result of looking at each one and giving them a thumbs up and telling what they're doing right instead of what they're doing wrong. The story goes to back, the boy reports it in class and the teacher calls me in 1988 when I'm sitting in a garage with no money and just pinning a ribbon every day. And I get this call of this teacher and that boy's life got saved. I couldn't stop crying. And I said, I promised to tell that story for the rest of my life. The story wound up in Chicken Soup for the Soul, a New York Times bestselling book. It wound up in a television movie, and it wound up being #1 on YouTube for 10 weeks in the nonprofit category. And of course, people all over the world then started to contact my little tiny house to get ribbons. And basically that's my life.
Yeah. I love you so much. You're such a beautiful being. And that story is going to touch, because we all know someone like that. I felt like that. A lot of people, you felt like that. Suicidal ideations, have been rampant, especially in the last few years. And, a parent, as you said, we're always crying out for affection or attention or love from a parent or somebody that we love. And there's just so much emotional abuse that lifting somebody's spirit with a ribbon, a simple little ribbon, just having that attention placed upon you momentarily. We would love to get these ribbons in every school around the world, so every child receives one. So there's just, as you've been trying, this is part of your global campaign. How's that going?
Well, you know what? It's duplicatable. While I'm sitting here talking to you, 1,000 children were honored just yesterday in Chicago. In all of those that are graduates of my course are leaders. They're youth and adult leaders, and so they're getting the program in schools. They're able to teach. I want to bring our program. We have a Blue Ribbon Week program, so that not only do the kids learn how to teach their peers, their parents, their business people, their community, how to honor each other and how to focus on what's working instead of what isn't, how to honor the worth of self and how to build trust, and how to take a stand to make a difference in our community, country, and world. So that's a duplicatable, that's where it's a replicatable, sustainable. I can be here and do that. And I get asked to speak and train via Zoom. I want to be, and I just finished doing training for Amazon. You know, everybody is starving for some adorable woman that's no nonsense, because the minute you have people honoring each other, which they don't do, and they don't do anywhere, by the way, this is a tool. If you got a hammer, you're going to need a nail. Okay, the Blue Ribbon is a tool to unite people from their heart, to lift people up and remind them, what is your dream, and start talking about what is each person's dream and how can I help you? What do you need? It's a new conversation. It's a new platform. And as Amazon, the managers of Amazon said, we never do anything like this. In a few minutes, it changes the culture of who we be. And also, suicide is the second leading cause of death among 10 to 34 years old today. And also, the kids that I've been training for 40 years have become parents who beat their kids up and beat themselves up. So they don't know how to acknowledge the worth of self, because they're in our mind's eye, you know, I wasn't good enough for my husband, and so I'm not good enough yet. You know, we have that echoing inside of it. Unless you have something big enough, a purpose big enough, all the small stuff shows up. So I invite everybody to get free ribbons on our first page. On our homepage, go on to Blue Ribbons, BLUERIBBONS.org. Watch the movie, it's right there. Get free ribbons, but get in touch with me at Sparky. If this speaks to your heart and you want to do something in your city, in your school, in your church, in your neighborhood, I want to hear from you. I want to be here to empower you. See if you're a good candidate for the training program that we're doing starting in September. It's online. It's only two hours a week, but you've got to be vetted, nominated by me. And it's Sparky, SPARKY at Blue Ribbons, BLUERIBBONS, put the S on the end of it, .org. Okay, it'll go to something else. Okay.
Beautiful, darling. You're so cute. Wow, amazing, amazing. Blueribbons.org forever. So you and I, years ago, I mean, we sat on the same board for improvements in the school curriculum, because you and I both have worked for many years with children in the youth, try and change the shite that they're taught, the education that they're given, as you and I both know, and have, you know, definitely been heard by very many people across the planet, that the education is so low, and the children should be learning things that are really going to help them in their lives. So are you still connected with that board?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad you brought it up. So I want to invite everybody to go to CAYS.org, CAYS.org. It's a community alliance for youth success. I am on the steering committee for 10 years with Stedman Graham, Oprah's life partner, Bobby DePorter, who was the president of Quantum Learning Network, which she just sold a company with 1,000 schools. Yeah, Bobby.
She did, Bobby DePorter.
Yes, she's still involved in the. She's an author, Super Camp, all that stuff. But all of that has been sold after COVID, and for a year, the whole where you went to their gorgeous facility. They closed it, and they just had to let it go. But the great news is that the purpose of CAYS, CAYS.org, and it's a magnificent website, is for kids to discover their purpose. You can go on to the free curriculum online, it's free. And to get it into schools, if you know somebody who's passionate to lead this in their school, there is a fee to train a teacher in the school to deliver this,
Curriculum.
Yeah, the curriculum. And I did the pilot. We had 5 kids, and it was over, I think, a couple months, and we just had it, I think, a couple hours a week. I'm not even sure now, but it was really exciting because the kids are they're able to go inside to look at their backgrounds, to look at where they came from, to dialogue with each other, to be able to talk about their dreams, to evolve themselves. It's a great piece of work, and it was produced by teachers here in San Diego, not by us on the steering committee, but by teachers in San Diego. And that is definitely a replicatable, scalable, sustainable model. It just needs, like I have duplicated myself with my student leaders that are, from 16 years old up to my age 80. And they are passionate. They already do their work. They have their own platforms. But we're now collaborating to bring the Blue Ribbon program into the communities. And then we tell when we're there, we go, and now their next step is go to CAYS. Next step is go here, go there. We know everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. There's you, global leader in education, educating the soul, like one of your taglines, because obviously you have to shorten things to get the message across, was like end bullying and bullying in a minute or less. Like, this is one of the major.
We say that. We say, when we send out our materials, we say in 60 seconds or end bullying in 60 seconds or less.
Yeah. And it sounds such a big statement to make, and yet you've got hundreds of thousands of stories, like the young boy, who was going to take his life, and his father took a moment to honor him. And it's important. And I've been loving the idea of getting this beautiful ribbon into schools across the world,
Yes.
Where everyone is taking a moment to raise frequency in each person, to feel good for 2 minutes, even if that's all you get. It's something, it creates a bump in their own consciousness, isn't it?
Here's what I want you to see. It's visual. If you see the principal of your school wearing a ribbon, and the football coach wearing a ribbon, and you've got a ribbon, all of a sudden you can talk about everybody gets a ribbon. Bus drivers, janitors, nobody's left out. All of a sudden you have a whole community, and everybody starts to talk to each other in a different way. Bullying does end in 60 seconds or less, and people are starting to say, what's your dream? How can I help you? What do you need? You're doing that? So-and-so is doing this. Let's put you together. You can't even imagine how quickly it works. But if you don't have it in the right school, with the right principal, or the right support, or the right business, or whatever, it can go down they just won't get it. So we are doing that by meeting with now the mayors of cities, with our city leaders, and we're scheduling mayors. In fact, it's Starla.
Yes.
So Starla leads
another global leader, Starla Lewis.
So Starla leads San Diego and the state of California with me. She is the leader of that. She is I think the 5th Blue Ribbon city in the world. And we're making an appointment right now to meet with Mayor Todd Gloria, the mayor of San Diego, and 17 other mayors. And so that's her. And for those of you that don't know Starla, she is Professor Emeritus. She's San Diego Women's Hall of Fame. She's Black Studies. She is a miracle. She is the next Maya Angelou. Everybody calls her that. She only knows love, and she teaches it. So like that kind of caliber is what our Standing Strong Together, those that come and join us, you could be a janitor and be in there if you're touching people's lives.
Absolutely. Nobody left out, everybody
Nobody
included.
left out.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's all about love. And yeah, I'm going to be getting our beautiful friend Starla Lewis on this channel soon too, to share her beauty and her voice and her legacy.
There you go. And yeah, go ahead.
Do you have your book handy? Anything else around you that you can share? I just want
Oh,
people to know
shoot.
this legacy of love that
You
you've
know
been
what?
creating.
The blue ribbon is on my dresser over there. I'd have to get up and get it. My God, isn't that hysterical? Most people are just hold the sucker up.
Okay, I can put this on pause for a second if you want to.
Yeah,
Comfortably get
let
it.
me do that, and
All
then
right.
and then I'll
I'm going
talk
to
about
pause now.
my new book.